The studio lights are hotter than I remember. Not the soft, forgiving glow of a congressional hearing room where you can hide behind procedural mumbo-jumbo and parliamentary privilege. No, these are the merciless 5,000-watt LEDs of One America News. And they reveal everything. Every bead of sweat. Every micro-expression. Every lie you're about to sell as truth. And I'm selling. God, am I selling? Welcome back to the Matt Gaetz Show. I say, my voice smooth as Tennessee whiskey, my smile sharp as a subpoena. Tonight, we're talking about the swamp creatures who tried to destroy me and how I'm building something they can never touch. The red light blinks. 3 million viewers. Maybe 4 on a good night. Not CNN numbers, sure. But these are my people. The ones who don't just watch, they believe. They send money. They show up to rallies. They'd storm the Capitol again if I asked them to. Wait. Scratch that last part. The lawyers are always listening. But here's what nobody tells you about television. It's not about truth. It's about control. In Congress, I had power, sure. 1 vote among 435. The ability to grandstand. To filibuster. To throw grenades at Kevin McCarthy's speakership just because I could. But TV? TV is pure, unfiltered influence. No committee votes. No speaker blocking your amendments. Just me, the camera, and a direct line into millions of living rooms across America. And the money. Jesus Christ, the money. I can still smell the leather of that Capitol office chair. Rich. Expensive. Paid for by taxpayers, who'll never sit in anything half as comfortable. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Text after text after text. Trump wants to see you. Urgent. Call POTUS-elect immediately. AG position. This is real. Attorney General of the United States. The top cop. The guy who decides who gets investigated and who walks free. The position that could protect Trump from every prosecutor in America and bury his enemies 6 feet under legal paperwork. Trump wanted me. I stared at my reflection in the dark computer screen. 39 years old. Never tried a case in my life. My legal career consisted of 2 years at a small Florida firm before I ran for state legislature. But qualifications? In Trump's world, loyalty is the only qualification that matters, and I'd proven my loyalty. 8 times I voted against certifying the 2020 election. I was on Fox News more than their own hosts, defending Trump through impeachment, through January 6th, through every scandal and shit show. While other Republicans whispered about moving on, I doubled down. Now he was offering me the keys to the kingdom. My chief of staff burst through the door. Matt, there's a problem. There's always a problem. The Ethics Committee report, they're going to release it. My stomach dropped, that sickening elevator plunge feeling when you know the floor is about to give way. The House Ethics Committee had been investigating me for years. Allegations of sex trafficking, drug use, payments to women. Most of it bullshit. Some of it complicated. When? Soon. Maybe days. And if you take the AG nomination. He didn't need to finish. The Senate confirmation hearings would be a bloodbath. Every senator with a grudge, Reed, all of them, would have weeks to parade witnesses, leak documents, turn my life into a public autopsy. The ethics report would be Exhibit A. But here's the beautiful part. The loophole that only a sharp legal mind could see. If I resigned from Congress immediately, the Ethics Committee would lose jurisdiction. No member, no investigation. The report would die in a locked filing cabinet, classified as former member material. Draft my resignation letter, I said. Effective immediately. Matt, are you sure? This kills your political career. I laughed. Actually laughed. My congressional career. There's a difference. Those 8 days felt like 8 years. Trump announced my nomination on Truth Social. Matt Gaetz, a brilliant lawyer and fearless warrior, will be my attorney general. The witch hunts end now. The media went supernova. MSNBC called me unqualified. CNN ran segments on my checkered past. Even Fox News. Fox News had their legal analysts questioning whether I could survive confirmation. But the real knives came from inside the building. Senate Republicans. The same people who'd watched Trump remake their party, who'd bent the knee, who'd sold their souls, suddenly they found their spines. Susan Collins was concerned. Lisa Murkowski was troubled. Even Tommy Tuberville, who'd defend Trump if he shot someone on Fifth Avenue, was making uncomfortable faces. And then there was Mitch McConnell. That turtle-faced fuck sat in his office, saying nothing, doing everything. Every leak to the press, every anonymous Republican senator, quote, every procedural delay that was Mitch's handiwork. He'd never forgiven Trump for losing the Senate in 2020, and he'd never forgiven me for being Trump's attack dog. The calls started coming. Matt, you need to withdraw. Matt, this is embarrassing, the president-elect. Matt, you don't have the votes. I could hear the smugness in their voices. These were the same establishment Republicans I'd spent years humiliating on cable news. Kevin McCarthy was probably jerking off to my misery. After I'd led the charge to remove him as Speaker, the first time in American history a Speaker had been ousted mid-term, he'd publicly joked about karma. Well, fuck Kevin, fuck Mitch, fuck all of them. But I also wasn't stupid. I did the math. You need 51 votes for confirmation. Trump had 53 Republicans in the Senate. That meant I could only lose 2 GOP senators, but I was tracking at least 7 no votes, with another 10 leaning no. The ethics report was the poison pill. As long as it existed, senators could clutch their pearls about due process and serious allegations. They'd never have to actually say, I don't like Matt Gaetz. They could hide behind institutional propriety. On day 6, I flew to Mar-a-Lago. Trump was eating a well-done steak with ketchup when I walked into the dining room. The man has the culinary taste of a 6-year-old, but he has the political instincts of an apex predator. Matty. He stood up, shook my hand with both of his. How we doing? You hanging in there? Sir, I need to withdraw. His face, God, that face. It cycled through 5 emotions in 2 seconds. Surprise, disappointment, anger, calculation, and finally, relief. You sure, Matt, we can fight this? Not without making you look weak. They'll drag this out for weeks. Every day will be headlines about my past instead of your agenda. I won't do that to you. He sat back down, cut another piece of steak, chewed slowly. What will you do? And that's when I pitched him. The idea that had been growing in my head like a beautiful, cancerous tumor. Media. I'm going to build a media platform. Not just a show, an empire. I'll be your voice on the outside. Attacking the people you can't touch from the White House. No congressional rules. No FCC fairness doctrine. Just pure. His eyes lit up. Trump understands media like a junkie understands needles. Owen, to start. Then podcasts. Then maybe my own network. I'll make more noise from a TV studio than I ever did from Congress. He smiled. That predatory, knowing smile. You're a smart kid, Matty. Smarter than people think. 2 days later, I withdrew my nomination. The press declared it a humiliating defeat. X was a festival of schadenfreude. My enemies celebrated. They had no idea what was coming. Back in the studio, the segment's ending. I nail the closing line. They thought they destroyed me in Washington. They thought forcing me out of Congress was their victory. But here's what they don't understand. I don't need their permission anymore. I don't need their votes. I don't need their approval. I have something more powerful. I have you. I point at the camera. 3 million people feel like I'm pointing directly at them. And together, we're going to burn their corrupt system to the ground. Not with violence, with truth. Stay tuned. Cut to commercial. The lights dim slightly. I exhale. My producer rushes over. Matt, that was incredible. The engagement numbers are through the roof. We're trending on Twitter, X. And we just got confirmation. The RNC wants to buy ad time during your show. Money. It always comes back to money. In Congress, I made $174,000 a year. Good money, sure, but nothing compared to the grift available outside. My OAN contract is worth 7 figures annually. Then there's the speaking fees, $50,000 per appearance at MAGA rallies. The book deal I'm negotiating. The cryptocurrency I'm advising on. The PAC contributions that technically can't coordinate with my media work but somehow always seem to. I'm making more in a month than I made in a year as a congressman. And the best part? No ethics committees, no campaign finance reports, no congressional disclosure forms. Private sector, baby. I can do whatever the fuck I want. My phone buzzes. A text from Trump. Great show tonight. Keep hitting them hard. Maybe we talk about that FCC commissioner spot soon. I smile. Because that's the real play, isn't it? Build the platform. Prove I'm worth more outside government than in. Then, when Trump needs someone to shake up the regulatory agencies that control media, someone who understands broadcasting, who has skin in the game, who'll burn the whole thing down if necessary, he'll remember me. FCC commissioner doesn't require Senate confirmation if it's a recess appointment, just a presidential signature. And from that position, I could reshape American media. Revoke broadcast licenses for networks that displease us. Rewrite fairness doctrines. Make it easier for conservative outlets to dominate the airwaves. It's not about revenge. It's about power. People keep asking me, Matt, don't you miss Congress? Don't you want to go back? And I always give the same answer. I'm doing more good out here than I ever did in there. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. I fucking hated Congress. The meetings. The fundraising calls 6 hours a day begging donors for money. The committee hearings where you sit through 8 hours of testimony just to get 2 minutes of speaking time. The votes where your position doesn't matter because leadership has already cut a deal. I was a show horse in a stable full of workhorses. And show horses don't plow fields, but show horses do win races. And they do attract crowds. And they do make money. The day I resigned, Kevin McCarthy's people leaked a comment to Politico. Matt Gaetz was the most narcissistic member of Congress, and that's really saying something. Narcissistic. Maybe. But at least I'm honest about it. These other politicians, they pretend they're serving the people while they suck up to lobbyists, insider trade on classified briefings, and position themselves for 7-figure consulting gigs after retirement. They're just as narcissistic. They're just better liars. I cut out the middleman. I went straight to the media game. Of course, the ethics report didn't actually die. In December 2024, the House Ethics Committee voted to release it anyway, a rare move for a former member. The 37-page document detailed allegations spanning 2017 to 2020, payments to women, drug use at parties, a trip to the Bahamas that raised eyebrows. The media had a field day. For about 48 hours. Then Trump did something brilliant. He fired 3 federal prosecutors in one day, nominated a controversial judge to the D.C. Circuit, and floated a rumor about pardoning January 6th defendants. The news cycle moved on. Because here's the secret about scandals in 2025. There are too many of them. The outrage economy has created outrage inflation. What would have ended a career in 2015 barely makes a ripple in 2025. You just need to wait 3 days for the next crisis. And I learned something crucial from Trump. Never apologize. Never explain. Just keep moving forward like nothing happened. Someone asked me about the ethics report during a recent interview. I looked directly into the camera and said, "It's a politically motivated hit job from people who hate Trump and everyone associated with him." Next question. No denial, no details, no defense, just dismissal. And you know what? It worked. My ratings went up after the report dropped. Because my audience doesn't care about establishment ethics. They care about fighting the swamp. My father called last week. Don Gaetz, former Florida Senate president, self-made millionaire, the man whose shadow I've been trying to escape my entire life. "Matthew, we need to talk about your direction." We met at his favorite restaurant in Niceville. Steaks and scotch. Very Don Gaetz. "Dad, if this is about the show, it's about your future. You're burning bridges you might need to rebuild." "I don't need those bridges. I have a platform now." He cut his steak with surgical precision. Platforms are fleeting. Power is permanent. You had a congressional seat, a safe seat. You could have been in Washington for decades, built relationships, chaired committees, maybe run for Senate, governor, even. Or I could have been another forgettable congressman that nobody remembers. Is being remembered worth more than being effective? That's the fundamental question, isn't it? The one I think about at 3 a.m. when the studio lights are off and the cameras aren't rolling. In Congress, I could have introduced legislation, built coalitions, actually changed laws. But would anyone have cared? Would anyone have listened? On TV, I can't change laws, but I can change minds. I can shape narratives. I can make millions of people believe whatever I want them to believe. Which is more powerful? My father sipped his scotch. Your mother worries about you. Mum always worries. She thinks you're in over your head, that you're playing a dangerous game. I laughed. Dad, you played dangerous games. Real estate deals with Russians. That whole thing in the Panhandle. Don't lecture me about risk. His jaw tightened. We don't talk about his business dealings. Family rule. I'm not lecturing. I'm asking, what's the end game, Matthew? Where does this path lead? I drained my whiskey. Same place every path leads. Power. Money. Legacy. One. And if the media turns on you, if Trump loses interest, if the next scandal sticks, then I'll pivot again. That's the advantage of not being tied down. Congress was a trap. This is freedom. He didn't look convinced, but he never does. The teleprompter is loading. Tonight's topic: Hunter Biden's pardon and the two-tier justice system. It's red meat for the base, exactly what they want to hear. But while I'm reading these words, performing this outrage, a part of my brain is already 3 moves ahead. Move 1. Build the audience. Get to 5 million regular viewers. Make myself indispensable to the conservative media ecosystem. Move 2. Launch the podcast network. Not just my show, a whole slate of MAGA personalities. Control the narrative from multiple angles. Move 3. When Trump's term ends, or if it ends, who knows in this timeline, position myself as the heir apparent. Not as a politician, as a movement leader. The guy who controls the message. Steve Bannon tried this. He built an empire, then got arrested for fraud. Roger Stone tried this. He's a walking meme now. But they made critical mistakes. They put themselves above Trump. They forgot the cardinal rule. Trump is the sun. Everyone else orbits. As long as I stay in Trump's orbit, I'm untouchable. The moment I try to eclipse him, I'm done. The studio manager counts down. Live in 5, 4, 3. I straighten my tie, check my hair in the monitor. Flash the smile that's launched 1,000 conspiracy theories. Good evening, America. Tonight we're talking about justice or the lack thereof. While Hunter Biden walks free after a presidential pardon, January 6th defendants rot in jail for the crime of protesting. Tell me, does that sound like equal justice to you? The camera loves me, the audience loves me, the algorithm loves me, and I love this. Because here's the truth that nobody in that Capitol building wants to admit. I didn't leave Congress in defeat. I escaped. While they're stuck in committee rooms, arguing over amendments that'll never pass, I'm building something that outlasts election cycles. A media empire that can't be voted out. A platform that can't be primaried. They think they won when I withdrew from the AG nomination. They have no idea they just freed me from the only thing holding me back. Mr. Gaetz, someone here to see you. I'm in my dressing room, still wearing the TV makeup. The door opens. It's not my producer. It's not my agent. It's a man in a dark suit. Federal badge. Matt Gaetz? I'm Special Agent Morrison, FBI. We need to talk about some financial irregularities related to your media contracts. Specifically, payments from foreign nationals funneled through shell companies. My blood runs cold. I have a lawyer. You're going to need one. He places a manila folder on my dressing table. Walks out. I sit there, staring at my reflection in the makeup mirror. The studio lights suddenly feel very, very hot. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. The text makes my heart stop. The ethics report was just the beginning. You should have stayed in Congress. At least there, you had immunity. KM, Kevin McCarthy, calm as a bitch. And she's just getting started.